This morning we've published our half-year results to shareholders, and I have made this short video to bring out the key points for our teams. As many of you will know, Greggs was riding high as we entered 2020, having just delivered our best ever year in 2019, paying a special thank you bonus to all of our colleagues and carrying real momentum into this year with exciting plans to develop next generation Greggs as we continue to open new shops and develop our multi-channel operations. And then COVID-19 came along and literally changed everything. When the crisis first began, we had thought that being a takeaway food business, we would stay open, providing a service to customers that were not able to work from home. But it very quickly became clear that the majority of our customers and our colleagues believed we should close to support the stay-at-home message from government. And so we quickly changed our minds and, alongside the other major brands in our sector, closed all shops in March. The financial consequences of that decision are revealed in these half-year results that show Greggs made our first ever loss in the long history of our business, a pre-tax loss of £65 million for the first 6 months. Once we decided to close shops, leaving just our operation supplying Iceland as our only form of income, we had to move quickly to secure the cash funds we would need to support the business until we could reopen again. We immediately stopped paying dividends to shareholders, stopped all but essential expenditure, cancelled annual pay increases, and accepted voluntary cuts in directors' salaries. But the most important decision was to put almost all of our 25,000 employees on the government furlough scheme to protect their jobs. Greggs is a very strong business, and we've always made it our policy to fund our business entirely from our own cash resources and not to rely on debt. That policy has served us well because it meant we were in a strong position to arrange a bank loan now that we were going to need it. The quickest way of organising that loan was through the government-backed scheme using the Bank of England, which we successfully arranged and meant we could carry on topping up furlough pay during the lockdown phase and cope with a long period of closure if that proved necessary. We will replace this loan with a conventional bank loan as soon as we can and release those funds back to the government. In addition, as we closed our shops, our local teams made a great job of ensuring that as much surplus food as possible was donated to good causes in their community. Greggs Foundation has reprioritised its activities, increasing the resources available to provide a helping hand to those in hardship and offering additional funds to local community groups that support the most vulnerable. Meanwhile, our marketing teams helped to keep the brand alive with some entertaining ideas for customers stuck at home. Closing the business down and securing financial backing was hard enough, but opening it up again from a standing start was always going to be harder still, and our teams have done a brilliant job. Thank you. We approached it in 3 phases to make sure our people were confident in our new COVID-secure ways of working, and we timed it for when we thought other retailers would be allowed to open again, and we got this just about right. We always expected that with social distancing restrictions, our sales would be below normal when we did reopen, but I have to say we've made a really encouraging start. With nearly all shops open, sales in these first few weeks back are steadily improving and are already at around 70% of last year's levels. Naturally, some shops are doing better than others, and it's the shops near office working populations and public transport hubs that are not yet seeing customers return in the numbers they're used to. By contrast, local towns and suburbs and shops reached by car are doing much better. The strength of our business is that we're not over-dependent on any one type of location, which means we're more resilient when one part comes under pressure. The same is true of customers. Greggs does not just serve one customer type, so when office workers are staying at home, we still have all those other customers who can't work from home who need our services. So Greggs is better placed than many. However, even for us, we have to expect that sales will remain below normal until social distancing is no longer required. Recent sales levels have allowed us to bring back approximately 75% of our colleagues out of furlough, and our business is trading at roughly cash break-even. As sales levels pick up, we'll be able to bring more of our colleagues back from furlough, but in the meantime, we continue to be reliant on the furlough scheme to protect those roles. Naturally, we're not in a position to know when social distancing will end, but we can be confident of our potential for long-term growth when that moment does come, because our opportunities for growth remain as relevant now as they've ever been. We just need to adapt our approach to take account of the social distancing impact in the short term. We've said before that we want to grow from 2,000 shops to more than 3,000 shops, and that hasn't changed. What has changed is that with social distancing reducing sales, it makes sense to slow our plans down until demand rises again. We still will be opening new shops. We will be more selective and focus on the most exciting opportunities. On the other hand, developing our digital channels through delivery and click and collect makes even more sense now, with many customers preferring to shop from home. So we've accelerated our plans and aim to roll out across the country by this autumn. The other key growth opportunity is to offer Greggs in the evening. Here again, we're having to adapt our plans so that we concentrate on click and collect and delivery as the best way to enter this market, while footfall in shops remains below normal. The changes and investment we've made in our supply chain over recent years have really proved invaluable in coping with the demands of the current crisis. We've been able to concentrate on bestsellers for distribution nationwide, while using the furlough scheme to support jobs while we wait for demand and our range to increase again. Here again, we will continue investing, but we'll adapt our plans to reflect the short-term outlook. As we'll not be opening as many new shops as originally planned, we'll not need to start the work to convert Birmingham to a dedicated distribution depot until later. But we are going ahead to complete the investment in manufacturing, which will complete our blueprint programme. Our new state-of-the-art automated frozen food facility in Newcastle is also progressing well and will begin operating next year. So, in summary, Greggs is strong and successful, but in the current crisis it remains very difficult to predict the outlook and likely performance of the business. And we have to recognise the possibility of further lockdowns, either nationally or regionally. However, Greggs is now well prepared to deal with the challenges of social distancing and operate under whatever conditions we're faced with. Greggs remains a much-loved brand, long-term growth opportunities remain exciting, and the business is better placed to adapt to new conditions than ever before. I'd like to end this message by giving credit to the amazing teams of people in our business who've risen to the enormous challenges created by this crisis, both in supporting the wider community and working together to redesign our operation to work safely under these new conditions. Adversity really has brought out the best in us, and we can be proud of our achievements together as we rebuild the business from here. Thank you.